morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustles. And today is coffee time. I'm joined by my co-host, Ms. Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. And all the way from Toronto, Canada, we have Coach Karen Fern, who's going to be weighing in on the conversation. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you, Karen. And I'm Carolina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So welcome to the show. Kick back, get your favorite cup, have a cup of coffee, water, hydrate, do whatever you need to do to relax and sit back and join the conversation. We're going to be talking about some wonderful things this morning, and we hope you'll weigh in. So good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. We are talking about a subject that came up yesterday, and
Ben and I always having these evolving conversations. Oh, there's a title.
Evolving Conversations.
Go ahead.
So we were talking about what are you going to do when you get the money? I mean, because, you know, everybody's talking about, okay, get six figures.
Be a millionaire overnight.
Yeah, you know, but what we found out is you really don't need six figures to live on.
And I don't even know if you need six figures to make a difference in the world. You can start where you are. And if you have a plan, the money will come.
Well, I want to go back to what do we really need to live on? Coach Karen can speak to this. Hey, Robin, thank you for joining us. Because technically, you need a roof over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Check. You need food to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Check. You need water to drink. Notice we didn't say coffee, tea, juice, whatever. Water. Check. Clothes to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Check. Okay, so the basics are covered. Your basics are covered. You really don't need seven figures to do that, to cover your basics. And Robin said she will take her, use the seven figures to take her entire family on an annual vacation. Okay, good. That's outside of the what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. But we're all talking about what is the plan for the seven figures, because everybody wants to earn seven figures. And
those are some serious vacations, Robin, if you're going to go through seven figures. I think that we need to have some kind of plan. Who are we going to help? Because when you're in business, you should be about solving some problem. You know what I mean? Even in fashion, I saw the. Oh, okay. Here I go. You're gonna have to mute me.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, you know, and look, the topic is bringing us right back to the budgeting thing.
It is.
It's bringing us right back there because, and I said it before, I guess I'm probably talking a lot, but I've said it before. You know, when you know what you need to know, which is, as Francine just said, basic, understanding your monthly cost, that's when you really get to plan ahead and get, first of all, to the seven figures. And so because you've been doing all this work along the way, when you get to the seven figures, you should know what's going to happen. Like one of the things, Francine, I do is write in my money journal. And so if you were writing and scoping about getting there, and part of your money journal was talking about the kind of money you want to make. So I'm going to give you a perfect example. In your money journal, let's say you said, I want to get, and you don't say, I want to get. In the money journal, you speak as though it is done. That's how you write in your money journal. So I have 6 amazing clients this month who has paid me in full X amount of dollars. And you will write also what they get out of it. They are seeing results with action taken. So you state what has happened, and you state the money about what has happened, whatever that money looks like, and the month it happened in, and then you'll state what the person or the people get out of it. Now, next to that, you want to have a little column talking about how you distribute that money. That's just a little practice of what you'll do eventually, right? So let's say you're putting how much money is going to self, how much money for salary, how much money for tithe or charity or however you do yours. If there was a debt that's happening within that same column, you'll put it right there so your eyes are seeing it and understanding when this money do come in, this is what's going to happen. So this is a practice that you've started. By the time you get to seven figure, you're comfortable. And for the person who might be putting $20 in the plate of church, probably might feel uncomfortable initially, but if you're doing this consistently and you can give your church $4,000 or $5,000 a month, why not? And maybe in that column you do it. And so you have other things that you're going to cover and do. And so therefore you might have a family or somebody else who has a church who will need you. So then maybe your church might be getting that for the first quarter. But then you're looking after somewhere else the next quarter, or you're helping with missions. And so you have this duty, and these people who you're serving and looking after that is not buying from you, but is benefit from you. And so that's the part of my money journey that I love, that I get to just envision and put forth and just literally watch lots of things that I've written years ago come to pass. And so that's why I know it works like nobody's listening, and you continuously doing it. So when you make $1 million, giving away 10% of that is not hard because you've been doing it. Even if you've just been doing it on paper, it's been in your heart. You've been programming yourself to do it. Whatever you want to write, if you don't have the money now, you want to start doing an envision. Because if you can't give 10 cents from $1, you're not going to give $100 from $1,000. You're not going to give $1,000 from $100. You're just not going to do it because it's going to be so hard for you to take it out and literally give it. I remember the first time I gave for missions at my church. I had started a missions savings, and so when the time came around, it was big, and I wanted to give it, and my husband said, "You think we could split it up?" I'm like, "No, this is what this was for. It's not getting split up. It's not going to anything because this is the purpose of it." So I set it out, and it just was like $2.50, $5, $10, whatever the specific business I was doing, whatever it made per day, per week. I took out the 10%, and when it was ready, it was just ready to go.
See, I hear you saying we have to practice before we get to seven figures, or because you won't know what to do, or wait, if you don't practice now, you're probably not going to get to seven figures.
Okay.
Because you don't know what to do with 3 figures. What will you do with 7?
Yes, if you can't be trusted with the quarter, how can we give you the dollar?
How are we going to give you $1?
Yeah.
How are we going to give you $1? Jim Rohn liked to say that I have it written up, it's his quote. What should a child do with $1? And he read, what should a child do with $1? They should never spend the whole dollar. They should spend 70 cents. What should anybody do with $1? They should only spend 70 cents. Only 70 cents is yours.
And none of it's ours, but yeah.
But the point, but we have to, it's requiring us to think differently in order to do differently, because we're not going to get to that point if we don't make a different choice here with like I said, the 3 figures before we get to 7.
You got to know what you're doing with it, because also when you get to this other place in your life, if you made 7 figures, you'd notice that it would disappear from you because you hadn't practiced what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you practice and you get there. Now there's a new challenge. There's new things that you need to seek out and learn when you get to the 7 figures. Because a lot of things happen that, we don't talk about debt, sickness, just all sorts of things happen when you get to this place you were striving to get to. And if you weren't paying attention, you're going to be sicker than most. You're going to be in a lot of arguments, and I'm going to just say argument. I could say anything else, but within the family, within people that know you. It's just one of those things because people can handle if you've been poor for a very long time and now you have. Because here's the people who can't handle. If the people who've been looking after you. If they can't look after you anymore, they might even realize that that's what they're upset about, that they can't look after you, even if they were complaining about looking after you. This is a comfortable thing for them. This is where they get to tell people that they have looked after you. You are taking it away from them. You've got that whole set of problems you got to deal with. I don't think about this.
Because you're canceling somebody else's mission.
There you go.
So now they're like, what? The mission is over? Nobody told me the mission was had a lifespan.
Yeah.
Or that you, and here's the other thing. If I am coming in here to rescue you and you've been able to rescue yourself, now I'm freaked out. I'm like a superhero with no destination. No. You know what I mean? I'm standing in the middle of the room and with my superhero cape on, and you're not even there. You moved on. You managed to escape before. Yeah, my whole persona is geared around rescuing you. So yes, that's going to cause a problem.
Mm-hmm. And so those are the little. You see, and it's going to cause problems for a lot of people. But you have to now teach people how to treat you. So if you were practicing, you would know that even if you made 7 figures, and they usually buy you lunch, you can say to them, "This is my treat this time." Or you invite them out before they invite you so that you can treat them. And don't treat them at a lavish restaurant because their ego can't take it right. Carry them at something very simple, like a pickle bar.
Whatever you've been going on a regular basis.
Yeah. don't go in too hard because they can't take it. Because
I like it. It sounds like basketball. Don't go in too hard. Because they take the loss, man. Don't let the score go over 200, please, people.
Yeah. As soon as I get this money, all my friends fall off. Nobody want to talk to me. They say that I'm showing off. No, it's not you. And maybe you showing off a bit, and who cares? But most times it's the person. They can't handle it. Now they have to talk to you and deal with you at a different level. And it's hard for their ego and pride and how they felt.
I hadn't even thought about this part of it.
Yeah, because this is all going to mindset and everything. And a lot of people want 7 figures. They want to earn it, but they don't understand the things that come along with it. There are responsibilities to every level that you go to. There is the 3-figure responsibilities, 4-figure responsibilities, 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure responsibilities. The mindset is different from 3 to 7.
Yeah.
From
Because
2
of
to
different
7.
communities.
Yeah, well, it's not even just the different people. It is a whole different way of thinking because you can't think 7 figures and act 3.
Yeah.
You can, but
it boggles your mind. It's like, okay, you got a company, you start a company, and you out to your workers 55 to 60% of your earnings. And your earnings might only be 10% out of this whole thing because of expenses and what have you, just let's say. It takes a different kind of mind frame to say yes to that. Because most people are like, I'm doing all the work, I'm doing the work. Why am I paying them all this money? Why am I paying this out to people? But those people, initially, for the first year or 2, maybe even 3, you might feel that pressure, but eventually you're going to surpass them with the amount of people that's working for you. But tell somebody that whose mind is not ready yet to wrap around that, and they can't understand it. Let's look at it the opposite way. Somebody's making 10 or 15 bucks an hour, and your business makes you make $30 an hour because you have spent time practice, learn how to bring it down to whatever you need to bring it down to. They don't care about that. They're still thinking about how much you're making. I remember the first time somebody said to me, you want to make $30 an hour? I make 12. Yeah, but you decide to make 12 because of the value you give it, because of where you are. I used to make $6.68 because that was the value I was given at that time. And that's what I make. But I'm not telling you my life story. But here you are wanting to argue with me, and only because I have learned my craft, I've perfected, and it used to take me 4 hours, and I figure out how to do the same thing in 2 hours. That's why it's $30 an hour versus it being, $15 an hour. So her mind couldn't come around to the idea of that. So
Or I could take 2 hours and charge you the $30 an hour. You know what I mean? And because you can wrap your mind around that.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. I talk about that in one of the posts you'll see in my group coming up because I do a lot of free stuff. And I talk about that. The first time I made fudge, it's, not the first time, but one of the times I made fudge didn't come out good. So it was sticky and it was soft. And I put it in a jar and I put it in a bowl of water. I had this idea and I left it overnight. And when I got up the next morning, it was like sticky and stretchy. And I find people when they come out say, look, I have fudge, but it's soft. Do you want to try it? And I didn't charge any cheaper because I used the same ingredient at the same time, just happened not to come out as good. So now I had a new clientele who came after that week asking for sticky fudge because they like the sticky fudge. Most people would charge less for the sticky fudge because they think it's a mistake. To me, it's still the fudge. I still made it. So I'm still charging the same price for the sticky fudge. I got customers for regular.
It's just a new product. I'm just saying. Right? So let's get back to now. Why do people need to make 7 figures? What's your plan?
Well, I have a couple of people here on Facebook who said, Alfredo said plan for kids' college and retirement.
Okay.
And Robin had already said to take the entire family. Yeah, so I'm thinking her entire family could mean nieces, nephews, grandchildren, and different people, which would cost a little bit.
An extended family.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit more. So you can do things with family. I'm also thinking that maybe in that plan, which, what did you call it, Terry? A happiness plan, where you have a budget. Part of that plan might be to give back. One lady we met where we were talking to yesterday, she said, because we asked her this question, what would you do with 7 figures? She said, well, I would give money to the elderly back home or help people go to school or help them start a business or what have you. So once you've gotten your stuff taken care of, what are you going to do with the excess, the surplus?
And those are the things that people really want to do. I love that people want to do more because I feel you're not selfish when you only want to make what's going to keep you warm and cozy. I think you should want to make enough so that you can share.
Yes. So when you make that kind of 7 figures, 6 figures, whatever, if it's all about you 4 and no more, that can become self-destructive. So I was looking at some foundations. I looked at the Rockefeller Foundation because, it's been in existence for over 100 years. And he grew up really poor, and he just stumbled into oil and railroads and ended up, controlling almost 90% of the oil business in the United States. At any rate, he had this excess capital, and so I was looking at his foundation. Now, I'm going to tell you some of the little notes I took off of that website. It says they're working to secure the fundamentals of human well-being around the world. That is a huge vision because there's a huge amount of money, so he can think globally and he can think humanistically, just on doesn't matter what country crosses borders, it's just all about humanity. And so when we're talking about what would we do with that extra money, and Bill Gates' foundation sort of takes the same trend. I think he looked at Rockefeller because he had that kind of Rockefeller money and said, okay, how do we do this? And then what do I want to do? And so he's about solving world problems over there on the Rockefeller Foundation and filling the gap between government and business. And in some cases, building a bridge with the money in between to help them want to work together toward the same goals.
So what I'm hearing is that when you have more, your vision to help more becomes bigger because
Oh, a him who has much.
to him as much is required.
And
So
my
so
lady say that to me all the time.
so here's
Terry,
the thing. It's expected of you, but also you can see more how to do it when you have more. When you're looking at your pocket right now and you got $5 and some lint in the pocket, you're like, "Well, I can't see how I'm going to change the world with this $5 in my pocket." But as Karen was talking about, if you're making plans to go bigger, making plans to do better, then it becomes you start not worrying about that lint in your pocket. You've already done your budget to cover your basic living stuff. But now what are you going to do outside of that? Giving back, finding foundations, starting foundations, doing different things to help other people.
And if you need visuals, take the $5 and change it up into change. And then give every, dime a name. Like give it a job to do. Money wants work to do. Money rarely needs work to do. Money needs work. If it doesn't have a job to do, it goes away. It has to have a job. If all you're doing is paying your bills with your money, that's all you're going to keep doing. You have to give it a job. The 7 figures, the people who get to 7 figures, understand that in the midst of chaos, if you have kids and you're standing there and everybody was screaming, you have to find your peace and center, which means you might need to walk away to the washroom. That's the same thing you have to do with your money because it's screaming at you. It is screaming very loud and clear for you to do. But if you don't know and you haven't expanded your mind because you weren't doing any work when you didn't have, kind of hard to be at that 6-figure thing. I mean, beyond once you make the money and you put down your kids' school, you're going to pay for your kids to go to school, you're going to buy them a car, you can help them buy a house, because, maybe there's all these things you have in your mind to do. You can take them on vacation, then what else? What else are you going to do? And you don't have to wait till all those things happen to do the other thing. Like, everything can be happening simultaneously, so. Because you also don't want to get kids school. It's not like you mustn't pay for their schooling, but they have this idea that my schooling is taken care of, so I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, because you see, I think sometimes we enable people to keep, and they don't become who they could really be if they didn't have everything just kind of like handed to them. It's like, okay, you need to still go work, but if you find something, we'll invest in what you're trying to do, even if that means going to school or what have you, but we'll
I
help
always
you.
used to ask when I was little, why? Because you always hear the rich get richer. And I started asking her, I'm like, why? If somebody has money, that's the person that gets more money.
Yeah.
Because of anything. You can see them just without anything. And this is ridiculous. And I would keep saying this thing over and over when I was, very young. and, because I didn't understand, didn't realize, and didn't understand the mindset, just the things that needed to be put in place on a continuous basis, especially when you're not seeing results. I think that's the hardest thing to tell somebody. What are you doing? It's going to land you where you need to be, even though you don't have the results you want. Yes, your faith is going to carry you through, but you have to still do this thing. If you have no food on the table, you still have to get up and do this thing that you're supposed to do, whatever that thing is for you. And you're going to get to where you need to be. So when you make 7 figures, you can't just sit down and lie in bed. You still don't have to get up and do this thing again, even though you had the 7 figures, because they're going to go away.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who want to get the 7 figures and go lay down on a beach and don't want to work, or they don't, I'm going to take a trip to Tahiti. There's only so many days that you can lay on the beach.
Anybody who made a lot of money will tell you that, because then after a while, once you start laying there, if you're productive, your mind is going to ask you what's next. What do you want to do? What's going to happen? And you're going to get up and do it. People who I used to like to watch people who travel around the world, who made a whole bunch of money and they travel around the world, you'll notice that they'll start up new businesses. Maybe not the kind that they need to be in day to day, but they'll start something. They'll see a need and they'll start something. And that's why they keep growing and becoming billionaires, because their focus is not so much of becoming a billionaire, but the thing that they're doing is causing them to be such. It's that thing that they're doing. I'm telling you, Carolina can make cover-ups and become a billionaire if she chooses to. And she can become a billionaire even if she didn't choose to, just because she's following the thing she's supposed to do. And then she becomes it because of the work she's put in. There's no magic. There's the works that she's put in. That's why she'll become that. Or she'll be, and it'll seem like she stumbled across something or somebody came across her path and helped her get to this next place because she was working. Because you're working, doing what you're supposed to be doing. Whatever that is.
It's sort of like if you're out there mowing lawns, people will stop you and say, hey, when you finish, could you come across the street and do mine?
Yes.
Because they see you in the work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, and keep going. I had this friend who's from Jamaica. He started a cleaning company, and he said he was thinking about it, and the cleaning company made a 2.2 million. It didn't make the 2.2 million yet when he started a lawn mowing company, because he had a guy who came and did the lawn mowing. And the guy was so good that he said to him, if I get you a few more jobs, would you appreciate it? And he said, of course. And he started getting the guy a job and just getting the cut off of it. And then he started his own company, his own lawn mowing company, and made the guy the general manager. And here was the key for his business to do well. He didn't say to the guy, come work for me and scrap the business. He says to him, I want you to be my general manager because you're good at what you do, but I don't want you to leave your business. Could we agree on that?
Most people are not going to. Most people are not going to do that. They're going to want you to quit yours so you can come work for theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing. So can you imagine how loyal he is to this guy and how he appreciates him? Because here he's getting his salaries, check him on other people, train them, and make sure things go great. But he has his business still. And he's learning, if he was smart, to start learning how to grow his own side. Because, there's enough lawns to be mowed.
Yes. And if we can ever get that thought of, I don't have to do everything, I don't have to have it all, I don't have to, when I say I don't have to have it all, I don't have to have everybody's business.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to look how many juice bar, how many this, that. The people who are doing what they're doing and loving what they're doing, they're moving on. There's so many money mindset coach. When I started, I couldn't find them. I was looking. And then there are teams that are coming out of the woodworks. But nobody's going to deliver stuff like that.
No.
They just head in that car. That's just the way it is.
And for those who are watching the replay and who are watching live, there's nobody going to do like you do.
Mm-hmm.
There are no people that can do what you do because you're unique. I was reading something this morning that this person was given specific skills to do a specific thing, and people called on that person to do the thing because he was skilled in it. And it went down the family line. It was just like this innate ability to be able to do a certain thing. Well, nobody's going to be able to take that from you.
Right on. And so you got to keep working in that, no matter how much figures you're making. But
Exactly.
It's a nice thing to know. And if you're not there yet, envision how when you get yourself there, what you do, how you stay and ride the tide.
Yeah. So the question for the day is, what will you do with your 7 figures? So it's not that the earning of it is a problem. It's what are you going to do with it once you've earned it? And I like the conversation Coach Karen just had about what are you going to do? There's going to be some things that you need to do to get to it, because all of the people who are telling you that you can earn 6-7 figures in 30 days, or I don't know if they tell you 30 days, but they try to make it sound like you too can earn 7 figures, but they're not giving you practical, real, true steps to get to it. You're not going to do that on the back of somebody else. You're not going to do it without you doing work.
Commitment.
Yeah, commitment, work. And then you have to get an understanding. The understanding is different at every level. From three figures to 4 figures is a different level of understanding. You have to learn that. We don't think like Warren Buffett or however many figures he's got going on. I'm not there yet. I don't have that mind. So I have to go study to understand what money is about. So when I get to that point, I'm not being taken advantage of.
Right. And studying is part of your growth. Studying, we call it self-development, but that's what it is. Studying. You got to keep studying. You have to keep studying. I remember the first time when I was talking, I got a doctor now for, oh my God, over 25 years. And one of the things, we talk about that she goes home, and not because she's taking a class, but she'll go home and pick up books or get new medical books and literally study what's happening in the Pacific area for a specific length of time. And she also goes away on sabbaticals to just do that because she needs to refresh. She needs to be present. And to get that done, she has to keep studying. So if you got 7 figures, if you're making, you need to start studying. You should have been moving along all along the way, but if you haven't, in no time like the present, to start studying what happens next.
Yeah.
What's my next?
What's your next, what's the thought process? How, because we are taking into consideration that you've already done your basic budget and you already know what you need to live on, what your what your business needs to live on. You've already done that. So now we're planning for the next level, which is, okay, now that my business budget is met and my personal budget is met, what is the next step? What do I do with the money? People are going to tell you about invest over here. People are going to tell you to invest over here. People are going to say, this is how you do it. Real estate, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, everybody has something out there. And if you're not, thinking about that, what is it? Stocks, there's all kind of stuff, but you don't know what to do next. That's not a good place to be.
And you got to study. I don't care who says, you don't need to know. You need to know. You need to know how you're going to invest. You need to know how you're going to feel when you invest. You need to understand your investment. It doesn't matter who's in charge of your investment. It's your due diligence to understand what you're getting yourself into. If not, do not get into it. It doesn't matter about who's great about it. Because your level of feeling, the way you feel when you invest in something, you have to understand the pits and the falls. You're going to lose money. That's part of investment. If you can't stand to lose $2, don't try it. If you lose 20, you're going to die. You're going to lose money. That is part of the process. You're going to lose money. You're going to make money. You're going to lose money. It's part of your growth. Now, however you feel, nobody can tell you how to feel either. You need to have it noted down. You need to really go and investigate you, because then it tells you the level of how you invest, who you are as a person, how are you willing to do, and are you, if you don't feel bad if you're not a chance taker, that's okay. That's not you. If that's not you, then you need more.
I like it when we talk about this, Karen, because when you talk to professionals, they talk about risk management. So I like the way you phrase it. If you're not a chance taker, don't be out here tripping.
Exactly.
It's going to go up and down. It's just,
Yeah. That's part of what's going to happen. You know who you are. Don't let anybody talking to anything else. And maybe eventually, when you understand enough, you'll be able to take some risk. But it wouldn't be the kind of risk that would have you staying up at night and your heart palpitating. It might just be, just enough. And that's okay. But also understand you probably wouldn't grow at the rate of the person who also take that big chance and do that big thing. So you're going to win big, you're going to lose big. Years ago, there's these people who used to give a lot of parties, and here they call it promotion or something, my son told me. And, I had an aunt who used to do this. And so nearly, at least 3 Saturday nights a month, she gave functions. And people are paying to come in, then they're buying liquor and what have you. And it was constant. It was a constant thing that she did, and she had great nights. And she had not so great nights, but she continuously do it. And she really had believed in a lot of investment through insurance and that she used different things different vehicles for herself in her investment. And she understood I guess she looked at it just as the way she kept the parties and, and that's what you have to think about it. If you got a course, you're a coach like I am, or you're a consultant, there is times when you might go and, you charge 20,000 and they said yes and they pay you 15 and they can't find you the other 5. I'm not saying to let that 5,000 go. I'm just saying that you have to understand in your mind and heart that you might not get that $5,000, or you might have to hire a lawyer, which can cost you more than $5,000. All those things are teaching you how to make the choices. You gotta have to do. So, 7 figures causes those things. And I'm not telling you not to get it, but it just causes those things. I'm not afraid. They're millionaires. So when they got sued last year, like 4 times, it was like crazy, like one after the other. That was a law fee like nobody's business. Yes, they won the case, but time and money.
So now, see, that brings up another part of this 7-figure thing. You don't really get to keep the 7 figures because there are going to be people who are after your 7 figures now. You have just become a target. The more money you get, the bigger target you become. And we are not saying that to make you afraid of becoming bigger. We're just telling you that this is going to happen. Uber is a big target. They got big. They are they're on the news all the time and everything they're doing because they are making big money and they're doing big things. There are also big challenges that come with that. We heard yesterday that on Uber, with Uber, they sued because Uber did not have a accessibility vehicle for people. I was like, now how do you even wrap your mind around that when they are a rideshare program and they do have Uber Assist, which will help people that have a fold-up wheelchair. But if you have a motorized chair, you think people are supposed to get that car? Okay, the tax.
Because it takes a lift, right?
To lift.
The lift is
very expensive.
Exactly.
And you need a van-sized vehicle because just to turn and the whole.
Exactly. So here's the thing: the taxi cabs are not being sued because they don't have one. Mm-hmm. But they're going to, somebody just decided to sue Uber. Well, because Uber's a big target. You notice they didn't go to somebody who don't have the money to do that. So what we're telling you is you're going to need to do some preparation things when you get 6 figures, 7 figures. You need to have an attorney. And we don't mean the dial-up attorney.
Yeah,
that you pay.
What is it called? Legal sheet?
Yeah, the one where you pay $25 a month. No. You need an attorney that's going to be able to answer the phone when you need them. So, and I'm not saying that Legal Shield don't work for some stuff. I'm just saying you need a bona fide attorney. And you need, maybe right now, you need to start making a connection with one and get to know somebody that's going to be your attorney. Actually, you should have a whole team of people. The tax consultant, you should have a CPA.
Yep. You need your advisors. And, Richard Ford, I like to call them advisors, and I like that. I really like that statement. You need your advisors, and you need to get the people. Why? One of the other things, why network meetups are good. When you rarely meet people like that at those places, you really want to have coffee with it, because then it costs you nothing. A lawyer could be at a meetup and it'll cost you nothing because you're at the meetup and you're having coffee. Yeah. But don't go lying to the guy and say, I'm going to hire a lawyer when you're not going to hire a lawyer. Just don't lie, right? I'm just investigating. I'm trying to build my team, and I got a number of people I want on my team, and I'm just talking to people. But don't go tell people you're hiring, because people, it just comes back to you. That's all I got to tell you. Don't go tell nobody you're hiring no lawyer. No, you're looking at your team. Just like I have my list for the business budget list, and those people are on there. A bookkeeper and an accountant. Why do I need book? If you don't know how to keep your books, you need a bookkeeper who's going to send your stuff to the accountant. And I could give you stories about why. I'm not going to audition you, but you need both of the people if you get to this point where you need people to handle and look after those things. You understand? You need those kind of advisors. You need a lawyer. You might need 2 lawyers depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is the world of the seven figures, people. It is
So,
not.
so when you say you don't get to keep that seven figures, part of that stuff, part of the income should be set aside for these contingency issues.
For advisors and things, because you always want to, okay, it's just like when you have an emergency fund in your personal budget, you, oh, wait, maybe you should have already set aside in the budget for your seven figures, an attorney, a CPA, all that stuff should have been set aside anyway in your budget because you're going to need them. And I mean, you may not need them right away, but it's just like your health insurance. You have it when you need it, although you pay it every month or whatever, but but if you need it, you have it. And see, that's another thing about seven figures. You may not want to tell everybody you got seven figures.
Just shut up. Just shut up. Nobody needs to know.
Seriously, because they're gonna already know that something has changed. Because, like I told you, your demeanor changes. You look a lot more relaxed. You actually got the car washed. Everything's working in the house. You know what I mean? That handle all your business, and you just look better.
Yeah,
Because you're not stressed.
correct.
Terry.
Because think of Warren Buffett. He drives a car. He hasn't bought a brand new car in a while. He lives in the same house he's lived in for what, over 30 some odd years?
That is a lot of money you can invest. I mean, if you're no longer making a house payment, that's maybe in California, that could be $2,000-$3,000 a month that could go into something, you know what I mean, that will generate income.
Yeah.
And again, we're back to the mind of what you have to do. I mean, the first time I told the same friend of mine that I talk about a lot, that she's one of my biggest clients when I started this journey. She, I said, you need to save $500 a month. She's like, say what? I think you can save $100. Not for the goal you want. You need to save $500 a month. Some people come to me and need to save $700. Sometimes that's the kind of money you need to pay towards your debt to get it down. Could be either way.
But you're doing something different. You're doing something proactive toward that. And we're just here to encourage you. Yes, seven figures is possible. We're not telling you that you can't have it. We're not telling you not to take the trips.
Exactly.
But there is some more stuff that goes on with the seven figures.
After you get home from the trip, you may get some mail.
We're just trying to cover. We're just trying to cover it.
Yes, we want to let you know that there's more to it, because a lot of people just telling you seven figures, and they're showing you the beach and they're showing you the cars and flashing the money and the cash and doing all of that, but they're not telling you the whole story.
Yes, you really just want to know those sort of things. You want to jot it down. You want to figure out. You want to talk to an attorney and the CPA to find out, kind of cooperation you should have, where it should be under. Like, those are really, really important things to do. I remember, this time I knew somebody in Guyana who had played and played bet, whatever, horse or something, win a whole bunch of money. I don't think they had any money 2 weeks later. And I need real money, like real big money. I don't know how much the number was, but it was big. But they went to town.
How is that possible? I mean,
that was my thing, Terry. You look like how I look. I was like, you need what to take the bus to go where? You didn't even buy a car.
Wow.
Because see, now I can understand what may have happened if you've never had any money. You saw, now all of a sudden you have it, and if you were a person that was susceptible to other people and you were trying to please other people, and you're now, I'm going to buy you this, and let me buy you these shoes, let me buy you this, let me buy you this, and now you're buying everybody's stuff. You're not taking care of your own stuff. So the psychology that you had before you got the money is the psychology you have now, unless you do something to change it before you get that money.
Yeah. I was younger. I had asked him and said, while you were waiting to win, because you played a lot, obviously, would you ever think about what you're going to do with it?
A plan.
Like, yeah. And they said to me, well, of course, I was going to give this. Yeah, but what was the plan? Giving it to people is not a plan.
No.
Giving it to people is not a plan. This is not a plan. You know, in Guyana, people dig for diamond and gold, and people come down and make tons of money. And the same thing applies. They come down, and whether they come with diamond or gold. This is why our government, in my time, never had to pay any tax on it. If you went and dig diamond, you went and dig gold with your equipment, you just come down and sell it. Nothing to pay. Nothing.
Wow.
But after the government see the foolishness they were doing, of course, they start taxing it. Because somebody said, "Oh, you can get some money out of this." So of course it started being taxed. But initially, if you, as freelance, you go to the hinterland and you got your equipment, you go to the office. We had an office in town, and you just tell them where you're going to be going, and that's for you. So you got a piece of paper. You pay $45, I think, or 40. It wasn't extra. It wasn't $100. It wasn't $100.
This sounds like the Old West
Gold
West.
rush. It does. It sounds like what we did.
Claim, and then you worked your claim.
Yep.
Yes.
And then whatever you got out of that claim
Was yours. And now
And they come and they work so hard because it's hard work, I heard. It's hard work for the divers or the diggers, whichever route you go. It's hard work. And they pour money and they buy all this stuff. When they come back, they just blazed it out. And then those same people say to you, life is so hard for me, I couldn't make it in life. Really? But the mind wasn't equipped with understanding that
no.
when I get the money, even if I have 100 family members and another 1,000 friends, I don't need to give each of them $1,000 or whatever. I really don't. I don't need to buy everybody lunch and everybody mother, father, sister, brother. Something. This money because it's going to be done. It's going to be done. It's going to be finished.
Yeah, and because you feel obligated that you have to give them back, or you have to do what, going back around to the fact that they may have been helping you, and now they're expecting you, they stand there with their hand out. Well, we helped you.
I like that you say that, Fran. I like that you say that because, we talk about stuff, but let me cover this part. Mm-hmm. When you are very, very poor, when you don't have, do not accumulate a lot of debt from a lot of people because you're going to pay dearly.
Yeah.
And that is one of the hardest places to get out from. If you owe somebody, we're in North America. Home, you just borrow from other people, you pay them back, right? But we're in North America, so most people are. If you have a credit card or two, don't get a third to fix the two.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Go work and fix the two. Go sell something and fix the two. Because if you neglect it, or if you put it aside, or you just had, for instance, if you owe a credit card and you just had a few dollars left and you didn't remember it, and it keep growing interest on it over time, now you're making all this money and you owe so much money, you're still screwing up your credit without understanding that you did. Because you might have thought you finished paying it off, but it's there and it accumulates. If your interest was 29%, even if you owe $2, it's 29 cents on each $2, and then that turned into what, right? Over time, little things add up. The same way on the credit card, like for yourself. So you'd want to pay off that debtor. You don't want to carry that with you. And some people, it's not because they want to, but they didn't stop and think about it and didn't remember that exists. Usually, it's never on purpose, but you still have to be on purpose for yourself. So 7 figures are great. It's around the same, but yeah, you got a tax guy, you got this guy, to this guy, to that guy. But if you spend some time, even going to network and not necessarily to sell your product, this is really a good place to just go and find great advisors because their mind is more in the active path. They are seeking and looking and they're energized like you are. I mean, we energy match, right? If somebody's dead, go around there. But if they're energized like you are, you can find really good people that maybe you're not going to hire them, but you'll get to ask them questions, or they might put thoughts in your head so that when you reach the right people, you get better questions to ask so you can get better answers. But there's big money that's coming in.
So what you gonna do?
Big money, big money, big money.
Big money, big money.
ready for the big money, people.
And see, and that's the other thing. If you're emotional about money, you might need to rein that in. Like does it? Like you do a happy dance because you got in some money and now you're emotional. I got to go spend it. I got to go do this and da, 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 da. No, you might want to rein that in.
Park it. If you ever make it, when you make it first, if you haven't yet, if you made, you listen to this and you haven't made your first $5,000, and when you do, and if it's coming out together, don't spend it. Let it sit 48, 72. If you can manage a whole week, don't touch it. Just live with the money. Just live with the knowing of the money. Feel everything about the money. Write it down if you need to, so you can go back to it.
I would think that having that kind of cushion would give you a better sense of confidence.
But I'm liking what Karen is saying about don't touch it for at least a week. Just let it sit. Let it, don't do anything. It's like that $20 she talks about, putting $20 in your wallet and don't even touch it. Act like it's not there. Just put the $20 in there because it really does do something to you differently. Every time, like it makes you go do something else. Like I had $30 in my wallet and I was like, well, I want to go buy something, but nope, I don't have any money. Although I had the $30 in my wallet, I wasn't touching that. I was like, nah, I really don't need whatever it was that I was going to buy because
makes you reevaluate.
It really does.
Really give you cause to pause and think about it. Because what are you really getting? I often put this to people. When you get a job, you got to wait 3 weeks to get paid.
Right.
Like, what are you really doing in 3 weeks? And you live, if you're not supposed to die yet, because you don't have control over that, you will still live through the 3 weeks.
Well, Karen, what I found out too is I really can live on a lot less. When I was working for the government, we went through a downturn.
Oh yeah, when they gave up what was it called? The furlough, when you lost 25% of your 25% of the income.
And that was the 25% that I quote unquote was living on, after bills and stuff. But now they took my living expenses and I got to figure out how to reduce my expenses so that I can have money to get to and from work and the kids can eat lunch and you know what I'm saying? So you find out that you will adapt. And you didn't have the money before you made it anyway. So
you didn't. I mean, that's why, Buffett educated his family members, his kids and grandkids, but he wouldn't give them a penny after that because he wanted them to really think and figure out what to do. I think one of the greatest things ever. I didn't do. My kids know if you want to go to school, you got to pay your first semester. So I said, if you're interested in learning, you say you got to learn, and then I'll pay the second. You're to pay the third, and I'll pay the fourth. Not because I can, because I won't. Because that's how I set it up. And that's what you got to do, because I wanted to show me. I told you about my last son, who's turning 18 next month. And something he said to myself, Pierce, wasn't it this year? He's like, no, Mom, I'm going next year. Said, I know you said you're not paying for the first semester, so how am I going to pay for it if I didn't make my money? When I make my money this year, I'm going next year. I'm like, well, he's like, yes, I believe you. I agree with you. I'm not fighting it.
But you have a plan. And that is the main thing that we're saying here today. You have a 6-figure idea. Now you need to have a 6-figure plan. People are wanting these 6 figures and, you too can make 6 figures. Okay. What is your plan for that 6 figures? Yes, you can spend it on yourself. We're not telling you can't do that. But there are things that you need to prepare for and things that you're going to do. You have responsibilities with 6 figures that you didn't have. And one of those is the government, and they want their taxes.
That's the biggest one.
So are you prepared for that? We don't want to have...
The biggest one, you're going to lose half of that. It's going in half. It's going to be half. So you're...
Yeah, if you don't discuss it with somebody who has an expertise in the field, okay, you need to buy equipment. We can write that off, or so you can enhance your business, or you can just pay them the money. But now you have more equipment, and the government's got your money. You know what I'm saying? So you need to talk to somebody who knows something, like you said, Francine, on the team,
Yes.
who can tell you, okay, well, if you invest this and that in your business,
Yeah.
or you put yourself on salary or whatever, so that you need some expertise coming in there
Yeah.
with money.
And Coach Karen,
who's actively doing this on a regular basis.
yeah, but that's their regular, like that's their 9 to 5. That's what they do. And like Coach Karen said, when you have that person, you need to pay attention to what they're saying. Put them on the team. Make sure that you're
Listen to them.
Oh.
Do what they tell you to do. You said it all the time.
And stop going stop, going, Google said I can do da, but you've only looked at the little.
Stop arguing with the expert. You go to the doctor and you say, look, I looked this up on the internet and I have blah, blah, blah. And the doctor said, then why are you in here? Okay.
Oh, man.
It's the same thing with your accountant. Some people are trying to tell them that you looked this up on the internet. People, you're paying them.
Yeah, I told this girl, she was arguing, like, I have my tax guy, so I get 20 years. I'm like, just talk to him. She's like, Carmen, you can help me do it. I'm like, yeah, I could. I don't do that, though. Get this tax guy. I don't do it. He's so good that if any of this speak to the government, he will actually go and speak for you. This is how long he's been doing it. The government know him. This is his profession. He sleep and breathe this stuff.
Come on in.
Okay. He sleep and breathe this stuff. And she wouldn't listen, And last year, what do you know? She got audited. And all she had to do was call the guy. Now she got audited. She was nervous. She didn't know what to do. You can't hide out at my house.
Because we are talking about building a profitable business that's fun to run, but there are responsibilities that go with that. And the one way to take the hassle out of your hustle is make sure that you got all of these things in place, because you have to look after. There's housekeeping that goes on with everything. There's responsibility. The more you get, the more you have to maintain. So you want that yacht. Okay. You're going to have a crew. You're going to have fees for the marina. You're going to have all kind of stuff that goes with that. So yes, you can have all that, but understand there is a responsibility to having 7 figures. It's just not having 7 figures.
Yeah, but if you want to look for the opposite way, you're employing a bunch of people, you're getting jobs to people. So
yes, and that's the other thing. You are that is the other side. You're helping somebody else with a job. But if you're just looking for the 7 figures to keep it in your pocket, I don't think that's going to work too well.
It's not going to last too long.
Hoarding in a house or hoarding in your finances is still not. It doesn't work. So we are at the top of the hour. We hope this conversation helped you out. Please, put your comments in the chat. We had Pat watching us, Robin, Penelope. We had Alfredo. Linda Nance came in and wished us a great morning, and Janice was in also. So thank you, everybody who watched live, who's watching this replay. Share it with somebody, because, we talked about some little unknown things with regards to 7 figures. Coach Karen, do you have any final words? And Tommy Whitlow joined us too. Go ahead.
Nice. If anything, I think Francine covered the majority. But the way we're talking about it here, we just want to make sure you understand we're not against 7 figures. I want that to be clear. We are happy if you're making 7 figures and beyond. We're just giving you some of the things, if you didn't think about it, and if you didn't think about it deeply enough, here's a place you can go back and have a deeper talk on it. And so you'd know that, don't let these things just slide you by, because audit is a real thing, and the government will audit you if you don't do certain things. So get the right people on your team. That's like A1. You want to really take care of that kind of housekeeping. And don't hoard it all for yourself. In this world, it's an extension. Anything I have, I'm to share with other people. And anything I give to other people, they in turn will share it to more people. So, and that's what we come and do here Monday to Friday. We talk about everything that surrounds business, the things that you might even think about, we bring up because we know without us as a person, there's no business. So we're an extension of our businesses. So that's why we take it personal too, so that you know that we understand and we need to look after you as a person.
Yeah. So with that, we will see you tomorrow. TJ will be bringing us some information regarding social media for your business. So please tune back in tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we just want to say thank you so much for spending time with us today. And we will see you tomorrow. Terry Lena.
Thank you, guys. Don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.